memory that I saw. I remember it was Orm, and I know who. Oh,
Oh,
hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
I'll save my question.
No, it's fine. Actually, I think it's perfectly relevant. I'm just going to do the thing, and then hold on. I wasn't ready to do my monologue timing today. I appreciate the cold start. It's great. Here we go. Monologue music. Card 14. The Hive. A bastion of humanity. Locked against planets hospitable and not, the Empire calls its home on a million worlds. Home to billions, if not trillions, of lives. Uncountable stories. Uncountable secrets. Secrets which are this Empire's truest and most dire currency. Good morning, afternoon, and or evening, all of those in between and beyond the binary, as well as ladies and gents of the internet, and I welcome you all back to Neon Lights Roleplay more specifically. After a very long wait, I welcome you all back to By His Shadowed Peace, our Wrath and Glory epic. I have with me, first off, I'm Young Foxy if you don't know who I am by now. I'm your maestro for the duration of stream, and I have along with me 4 incomparable tortillers, 4 dedicated souls, 4 inquisitorial acolytes of his most holy ordos, sent to bring his light, his justice, his retribution, and his verdict to all those who have strayed from his divine truth. I will tell you all about who they are.
Whatever floats your boat, pal.
Listen, let me get the spiel out at least. It's important for the tone section.
That's Bears talking.
I get it. We'll get there. Speaking of the people we're talking about there, I can tell you who they are, but I think they're, well, chomping at the bit to tell you who they are just themselves. So I won't keep it any longer. So acolytes, if you could please tell me who you are, who you're playing tonight, and where you can be found on the internet. And we'll start, of course, with the incomparable Barris Corbin.
Hey, that's me. I'm Land the Den. I'm playing Barris Corbin, and man, I just live here. That's what I do. I live here and I shoot things.
It's true. You have done both of those things. That's true.
And apparently, I've drawn the attention of a local drug kingpin or queen pin. I don't know what the terminology is.
Some kind of pin of drugs, certainly.
Yeah.
We'll figure that one out. Non-binary pin? We'll get there. Not important. Most important. Them pin. More importantly, before I get there, we'll deal with that as we next go over to our next cast member. A dedicated soul who I believe is finally rocking a much more improved costume. I think it's really given up the look properly as we talk to the one and only Sister Aria Yun Cantor.
Hello. It's me, I'm Michelle, and I'm playing Aria Yun Cantor, our Sister of Battle, who is perhaps a little naive, but is also very dedicated to the cause and the Emperor.
Blessed be the mind too small for doubt. So say he on Terra. I have like a billion of those, by the way, so be ready for me to just spit them out randomly at any point during the stream. Friends, sorry about that in advance. I have a list. But before I get to my list, let's talk more about these awesome people here. As I do have a list. As next up on our list, speaking of his most righteous service and his light, how could we have a session of By Each Other Peace without, of course, God's favored Marine, Lamentor brother, Zadkiel Delos, stand and be addressed.
Hello everyone, I am Turk, or Turk Accented if you're within the Emperor's Light. I will, of course, be playing Zadkiel Delos, Lamentor, a traitor to some, but that's a whole lore thing that he won't talk about till later.
We'll get there.
He has dispensed justice in the Emperor's name and is very fulfilled.
And there's much justice to be had here on Kata 2. We'll get there in just a moment, brother. But before we do, we have one last member of our cast to introduce, and anywhere far from the least. As where would the Emperor's service be without those capable of more esoteric investigation? And who better for that than one Agent Lara Tello, Psyker Extraordinaire.
Hello everybody, I am Megan or Meg Mysteria. I get to come back tonight playing Lara, who is the new kid on the block, but also knows a little bit too much.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't you worry. That's not ominous for what's going to happen today or anything. Don't worry about it. It's not important. It's not important at all, I promise. But secrets aside, I am, of course, Young Foxy. I helm the role of Game Maestro for this incredible stream, which means that I play all the agents, souls, and forces beyond that will encounter these 4 interesting individuals. More importantly, I am tasked with weaving the grand mystery before us, and it is no small task at all. So, with no further ramble ado at my end, I will bring us back into what happened, as we settle ourselves away from the current scene and bring ourselves back to the cold desert wastes of Cada 2. Friends, last session, you found yourselves descending into the mine sumps of your current location, which is Main Factorum A Secundus. Delving deep into the Factorum hubs to get some information, well, you found yourselves first splitting off. Some encountering rumors of politicians who are campaigning and discussing of current change. Some who delve deep into the minds of said politicians, learning secrets, some esoteric and some, perhaps, familiar. We'll get there in a moment. Others found themselves encountering the salt of the earth, gathering about and talking with the people of this hive and wondering what they might have to offer. And, well, with eyes on them, they descended further to meet with a contact. 2 wayward shipyard workers, Mallow and Chess, old friends of our dear friend Barris, encountered the party and shared what information they could. While the party managed to keep the nature of their mission and their employment fully secret, things got violent. They got violent as several members of the CP-12 cartel, that mentioned drug cartel that was after Barris, showed up intending to collect upon a debt. Wanted to take in our wayward desperado dead, they engaged in a firefight. Turns out, when you weigh out, 17 or so gangers with auto guns and basic pistols against a desperado, a sister of battle, a trained psyker, and a fully armed space marine, you end up with a lot of dead bodies, none of whom are the last 4 people I just mentioned. Thus, we find ourselves back at that scene, encountering said dead bodies, and the stink of all the filth that encompasses human detritus as it decomposes away. We left ourselves with 2 flabbergasted and aghast shipyard workers, and 4 agents who are fully armed, in most cases armored, and in some cases covered in other people's viscera. Friends, the choice of what to do from here is on you. I've given you your options already. So tell me, do you stick around here, debrief on the scene and try to get more information? Do you retreat, regroup somewhere else and debrief there? Do you take some other path I haven't planned for and haven't had any prep for? We'll see. Darlings, as I am so very fond to say in moments like these, the scene is yours.
Immediately, as the haze of battle kind of quiets and ends, and doing a final screen about the dying and the dead, Zadkiel is going to put the bolter into one hand and go down to a kneel and begin praying quietly to himself. Just amongst the corpses, and those he's probably just very recently blown apart.
You can
Napoleon blown apart.
you can hear from the side as Sister Aria takes a sort of like a deferential stance behind you, pulls out her very well-worn hymnal book, and starts singing along with your prayers.
You 2, can we do this later? I'd rather not stick around here.
I complete the stanza. I complete. I sing. I pray to completion and remove.
Lo and behold, for the emperor. I exactly sit there. Lo and behold, for the emperor. For the emperor was mighty and true, and did slay those who did not, who strayed from the vision, and thus the path was bloody, but it was complete.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying.
I remove the helmet and stand back up to full height. Thank you, sister. And then we'll look back. The greatest heresy of all is not properly thanking the Emperor for the gifts which he has bestowed upon us.
Well, he's gonna have a lot more gifts to bestow if we don't get out of here.
I see no crime committed. What fear do we? Are there reinforcements we must prepare for? We can barricade this position.
Surprisingly, Chess actually speaks up out of their mumble. He means the Arbites. Do you not have those from wherever you're from?
They don't have a lot.
Yeah, well, listen, big guy. Big scary dudes, not as big as you, mind you, with big scary guns, not as big as yours, mind you, are about to show up pretty soon. And they're not on those guys' side, but they damn sure are going to hear questions from some civilians who are surrounded by bodies, no matter how big and armored they are.
You're the man?
They are Imperial citizens. They serve the Empire, do they not?
Yes, but, well, and Mallow's like, we might have a little bit of a small rap on us. Listen, we do not want to be around when Arbitrates get here, so maybe we could just reconvene this somewhere a little less gore-streaked. If it pleases you, sir.
It would be best if we did leave.
Thank you.
Question, actually, for you, Lara. Since you don't speak, you protect your voice psychically. Are you including Mallow and Chess in the current protection of your voice, or no?
I am. They've already seen me do some shit.
They both jump.
But
Mallow, including a visible shriek, and then just like... That's freaky.
unfazed.
You get used to it.
And I am putting my voice into Zedkill's head for a moment. Think about it this way. The Arbiters will take up way more time.
You dare, witch!
I do.
Zed? Not the time.
I thought it real loud. I didn't say it.
I think Aria just walks up to Mallow and Shez and do you require rest and succor? I can provide some. I can tend to any wounds you have gained.
They look back and forth to each other. No, I think we're physically unscathed.
Then I will offer.
Then you should probably get out of here too.
And they're like, listen, well, if y'all aren't gonna keep us here, we're gonna bounce, whether or not you guys do.
You don't want to question them further about their association with the cartel.
That's not our priority right now. But we'll be in touch if we need anything else. Do you understand that?
They look and just, yeah, man. As long as there's less bodies around next time we talk, sure. Whatever you need.
Well, I guess that depends on who you tell about what you saw.
Chess says, we were just here playing tabletop and went home to get some sleep. Another shift tomorrow. Gotta get in early, yeah?
I never saw you.
Till next time.
Till next time.
And they'll just very slowly backpedal, both of them staring at Zadgale the entire time. Until they are very clearly out of line of sight. At which point they'll turn around and go on about
Maya, Chess. Or Mallow, Chess.
And Mallow will poke his head around. Yo?
I know you did what you had to do.
We're still sorry about it, man.
Sometimes there's no good options.
Yeah. Especially in a dump like this.
Don't we know it. I'll see you around.
He nods and heads off on his way. The two of them carry off into the night. And not long behind them. I mean, you all, you're normally tuned humans, probably wouldn't notice, but Zadkiel, you've got much better hearing than a standard human. You can hear a sound, a klaxon of some kind, wailing in the distance. That's faint, very faint, but beginning to come a bit closer. It's very clearly, I mean, I don't know if you know what an Arbitrous silent siren sounds like, but it's that.
Should we evacuate this battlefield?
Yes.
Do we require information from these criminals?
Pretty sure we killed them all.
Oh. Unless he means the two that just left.
He's gonna reach down and grab just like a body by the scruff of the shirt, like he was picking up a new puppy, or by the back of the neck. There are other ways of gaining information that I have been blessed with. If it is preferable to leave this place rather than to interrogate the law enforcement of this planet.
I see. I think that would be wise.
Very well, I'll start. Throw the body over my shoulder, I guess.
No, just
So-
fireman scare style.
You all vacating +1 body?
Plus one body.
Well,
Plus
hope
one
no one
body.
notices he doesn't have a head.
Plus a snack.
Yeah, we'll get there. So, you all dispatch. You're able to leave the warehouse yard you're currently in without too much trouble. And in fact, right on time, as you can begin to see the klaxon of the like flaring lights of Arbitrary Sirens slowly begin to arrive. Although I'm not going to make you all roll anything for this. You're able to get away without any stealth rolls or anything in that regard. You absolutely are certain your best bet is to doff your armor immediately, Aria, and Zadkiel.
Don't worry.
Big Zad, Big Z. As you've realized that you could, so effectively, I'll give you the choice here. Actually, you can either stash your armor back in the servitor toad crate it was carried in, meaning it's going to be there and will have to be brought to wherever you're going to take it next, or you could just get somewhere safe and stow it.
I would feel safest putting it back into an kind of storage unit that the Inquisition would use to keep something safe. Is it lockable and only accessible
Yes.
by us? Yeah, no, I'm not finding this armor later on someone else. If possible, that'd be a grave dishonor upon me.
It's so much fucking parts, to be perfectly honest.
I wouldn't blame them. They could put that shit on a tank. Anyway, imagine driving around with a space marine as a hood.
Space
over-
Marine
helmet.
helmet on the copula. Just...
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And
That's good.
but yeah, I'll move to deposit that before moving on and getting back into full, cool disguise abilities that I have.
Indeed. Aria, following suit? Or are you keeping yours on for now?
Following suit with the Emperor's Angel.
Indeed. Well, you both stow your armor and are able to swap back into your civilian garbs and coverings as you do. It makes your escape a little bit hairier. In fact, you're maybe certain that people might see some shapes leaving at worst. Nothing identifiable, absolutely. You're pretty certain. And again, the servitor is already moving to tow the crate away the moment you guys seal it and it relocks. It's already and huffing that off to the side. So you're certain they're not gonna find that. But maybe someone caught a whiff of that there were people here before they got here. Other than that, nothing too bad. Nice question, then. Where do you plan to reconvene? Consider that for a second while I let my dog in.
Well, do we have a safe place where I could have this body?
I mean, anywhere secluded would probably work. I don't think that's something you want to do where people can see you.
It's perfectly natural.
Next to doubt.
That was a noise.
I see nothing wrong with it.
So, do you have
Perhaps
any thoughts on where we might go? A morgue? It's an option.
Well, yeah, if we want to just hang out in the back of a morgue really quick and catch our breath and regroup, yeah.
Morgue. Perfect. They're not going to be sending all these dead bodies we just accumulated there.
The part of my brain that is Zadkill is that's
more
perfect.
facts,
A body
if
dispensary.
they do.
That will be easy.
I'm actually going to be perfectly real with y'all to answer the next question here. this is the Imperium of Mankind. So a morgue, as it is, a body storage area, would be for, like, bodies that need to be investigated, autopsy, things like that. This is not a place where, like, bodies go when it's like, oh, these people died. Those bodies that are left are off to the crematorium at best. They're off to the corpse starch factory at worst. If you want to know what corpse starch is, Google it later. Warhammer is a real fucked up system.
You can taste the Imperial love.
So the greatest people. I mean, what? Any case.
So yeah, it's perfectly natural what I'm about to do.
So yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go to like an actual place to like store bodies for investigation, I mean, you would know where one is absolutely, Barris, because you know you're from here. It's not too hard, and there's one in the Manufactorum, so you could easily make your way there. The only, I guess, the sort of caveat is that, and you wouldn't have to worry too much about, well, I guess, ne'er-do-wells or arbitres showing up with bodies anytime soon.
Would we need to like sneak in, or can we just walk through the door?
Well, I would say if you're going for secrecy, you probably want to sneak in. I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go somewhere you don't have to sneak in, then your best bet is just, you know, maybe somewhere else, a little shack somewhere. There's more than enough.
Well, I'm saying, like, how difficult would it be to get inside the morgue?
It would definitely require a stealth roll or something else.
Would that stealth roll have to come from Zad, since we're trying to get him in there?
I would say it would have to be. I would say it would be. I would let one of you take the roll, but it would definitely have some a higher difficulty for having to get Zad. I mean, alternative options, if you don't want to go to like somewhere populated, it's like, again, you guys just left an abandoned warehouse yard. There's more than enough abandoned warehouse yards in this low in the Hive sump that you could definitely find just a random one that, if there's anyone actually there, you could probably just get them to run away by having the big giant guy look at them for 3 seconds.
Well, I do know a morgue. We might have to finesse it a bit. Or we could find another warehouse. That'd probably be a lot easier and would have fewer people.
That would work as
It would mean fewer snacks for Zad, though.
I do not require snacks. It is not some enjoyable thing to use domophagia.
Then why do you always look so happy when you do it? Well, those are our options, so what do you think?
The warehouse would likely be best. We're trying to get out of sight quickly, are we not?
We are, well, in the spirit of that, let's head that way without further delay.
You travel through the duration of the, well, hard to tell what time of day it is. Again, this deep into the sump, you are at least a few, like, stories deep into the below surface level, as any light coming down here is artificial or filtered through, and so hard to tell what time of day it really is. But you move through the low light, find yourselves a comfortable place to stunk in, and while you can still hear the sirens of the arbitrates in the distance, you're certain they're nowhere nearby you and won't be sweeping this far out for any survivors or anything like that. Thus, you find yourself tucked into a small, sort of rusted, again, similar to where you just were, several large, massive storage containers. And by these big things, I mean these are like 2-story tall storage containers meant to hold hundreds of thousands of individual units of something, but by now they're just hollowed out, run down things that at least might even have some small scrap-built residences in them. The one you're currently in is empty. Maybe at some point someone bent down a portion of the middle to make it sleepable, but it's not currently populated. You're alone. The evening air is a bit cold, but you are to yourselves.
Then Zadkiel will just, rip off a piece of the skin and of the body he has and eat it.
I'm gonna go keep watch and face directly away from whatever he's doing.
I mean,
And
Aria's
try not to think about what's going on behind me.
Arya is unfazed. She just starts singing a litany dedicated to the Emperor's angels.
Mm.
I activate my homophagia, and the 9th of 18 blessings given unto the Astartes.
Well, before we get to that, Laura, any action from you as you're watching one of your friends eat a guy?
He is actually watching very curiously. He's like, this is a first.
Well, as you are a gifted psyker, and while this normally wouldn't be a thing that a normal psyker could pierce through easily, as Astartes are given several mimetic conditionings to make them more resistant to psychic invasion, you are a special case, which we'll get to at some point, don't worry. Thus, you are able to fully observe what happens within Zakiel's mind. Zad, it takes a bit. You get that fine skin grit chewing at the back of your teeth for a brief moment before you finally, as you swallow, feel your mind blank a bit. When it clears, you are not in the same empty warehouse. Rather, you are sitting on a cushion in a rundown shack of some kind. There are beverages all around you, pungent odors of some kind of herb being burnt in the air. And there are men and women and other individuals all around you, all of whom are loading weapons. Across from you, sitting on a very large cushion, is a lithe person, lithe in the most gaudy kind of way. They are thin, but covered in ostentatious jewelry and wealth. Their robes are fine about their waist, and they lean over to you. When you have time, head over to Ace and Kundus if you could. I believe an old friend may be dropping by. You speak. Not you, Zadkiel, but the you remember currently. Makes you so certain about it. You sound prophetic, boss. Let's say a little bird popped in and passed a message my way. A bird, and Sills, this individual you know from this memory is Sills, leans back. A bird or other form of rodent. Curious times. Nonetheless, you bring me that head, and a cut of what I get goes to you. Mirth, excitement, bloodlust lights up in your heart as you rise, rack an auto gun, and move towards the door with several other individuals grabbing guns behind you. You blink, and you're back.
Kind of suppresses the part of his head that does somewhat enjoy the process of it, and will wipe the stains from his mouth and stand back up to full height. We were betrayed as we landed, or perhaps even earlier. There's Sills knew of our location. I know what they look like, and would I be able to name at least the place where they hang out?
It is difficult to parse. You are not certain exactly where. You know the person you ate a bit of knew, but the only part you're able to tell specifically is that it is within Mindsync C Primus, which, for those of you who are looking at the map, is right over here. Other side of the planet. You also are known that, like, and this is a thing you are capable of because it's very common, because you think that name, Mindsync C Primus, you recognize CP12 is, well, probably referring to the 12th sublayer of Mindsync C Primus, hence CP12 Cartel. Meaning you are probably at least on home turf.
Sure. Barris. Is this...
Muted, bud.
Yep.
Is this criminal element worth pursuing? I have their location.
Right now, I don't know if. Right now, we don't know that they're related to what we're here for. I think it's better if we just lay low and deal with those problems as they come.
Would the information of their hideout be worthwhile to give to the Arbites?
Barris, I'll even tap in here as a bit of info. You know, because you've dealt with CP12 for a while, that while the Arbites are designed to, they're divisioned off to handle the different hives separately, obviously, they are stretched thin across the entire planet, and CP12 is one of the largest cartels on the planet. The Arbites know where they're based in. Launching a full-scale assault on, like, their entire home turf, they just don't have the manpower for it right now.
Forget it, Zad. It won't do any good. Chances are they probably already know anyway.
Disappointing. Then what is to be our next move?
Yeah. Well, we still have the spaceport as a lead, don't we?
This is true.
That seems like the next place we should head, unless anyone's got other ideas.
This would be a great time to bring up any other leads that might have been encountered by other people.
Not us.
Feel targeted.
Me targeting you? Never.
More likely
Meg,
than you think.
Meg, me targeting you in a Warhammer 40,000 game? It's literally never happened before, except like 7 times.
So I want to confirm, because I watched the episode to try to get my notes back, but I think that sector was dealing with dogs. But
You're cool, babe. Don't worry about it. I got you.
I remember the memory from Orm, the politician.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing something for someone else who was in the office.
Yes.
Was it changing data files from the
Yes.
spaceport?
It was
Yep.
some kind of a supply list roster important document that Aria does not know about. Transit. You're not sure if it's transit shipments or a ship flight log, but they shifted the entries around.
Damn, doing my job for me. Yeah, that.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm gonna get some dread music.
I appreciate.
No, you're good. It's great. Here comes some dread music. You got it.
Laura speaks up. Orm, the politician, maybe a good lead to follow as well.
Pretty nice.
I witnessed a memory where he was changing transport logs. Could be a ship log, could be transport to other locations, but he was changing data entries, shifting them around for someone. I did not see who it was, but seems like they have missed that. They have met several times, at minimum.
I'll also say, in case you forgot this out of character, while I'm certain Lara wouldn't say this, the voice didn't sound unfamiliar.
I remember. I know that man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I know that man.
We check the logs at the Administratum.
Alright.
I know not what
Easy
is being
one.
said by the witch, but the spaceport still seems a valid line of inquiry.
My apologies, my lord. Lara had mentioned that she had viewed a memory from Orme, or Orm?
Orme,
Orme, the politician. He had changed the shipping logs? Some kind of logs for someone. It might be important. We can audit. If we can enter the administratum and audit the logs, we might be able to find what the discrepancies are, or at least figure out what they were changing. If not who they were changing it for.
Understood. Could be an important bit of information. Then perhaps
Quick question for our hometown hero.
Oh, great.
You ever do any work in the shipping yards before you got hired for other work?
I probably did work anywhere I could find work. So, yeah.
In which
probably.
case, you would know that the shipping yards for Arctis Spaceport. Well, here's the thing: because this is a planet that's constantly bickering and squabbling over its various who owns the various manufacturers and hives and shipping lanes and things like that. The rights to store the data files and logs and shipping records from Arctis Spaceport and the other spaceports is a very, very vaunted and fought over thing on the various planets. And you would know that most currently, for the past while at least, it's been currently held over at Manufactorum B Secundus.
Right. Well, if you're looking to get into the logs, I think I know where you need to go. Y'all have heard about A Secundus? You might need to head over to B Secundus. That's unless you don't want to confront the guy directly.
Well, it seems Orme is headed to B Secundus. He mentioned he was doing some sort of... he would be traveling there to wanting to empower the people of Keda 2.
Sounds like we have reason to head there then. So we got two places we need to go. Seems like we might need to split up again.
That wise.
I have no idea at this point.
they would likely be seeking a group of 4 people according to their reports. 2 groups of 2 would be far less likely to catch attention.
Zad, I don't know how to tell you this, but you probably catch a lot of attention no matter what we do with you.
I am wearing a disguise.
Aria looks at herself and sees nothing wrong.
How much of a distance is it between where
Meg,
we are
I
in the
love
2
you.
locations?
I love
Because
you.
I remember it being pretty far, actually.
Arctis Spaceport is about one of the most furthest northeast or northwest points on the planet. It is kind of on the way to Manufactorum B Secundus. They are separated by a pretty vast distance, a few days travel by conventional means. Now, there's a ferry service, there's shuttle services. You can either hire a private shuttle or get a ferry service to take you to B Secundus. Spaceport might be more difficult unless you want to get secure your own transport. However, those 2 distances are separated by a fair bit, so you could split up and go to both, but it would mean effectively having to get separate versions of transport for the 2 people who are going 2 different ways.
With how far apart they are, maybe it's better to stay together than hit one, hit the other. Something goes south for either of us, we can't call on the other team for backup.
Then I suppose we should requisition some vehicles? Or a vehicle.
This would be wise.
Well, In that case, before you, I think we could have a pretty fun. Well, that would be a fun place to like slide cut to doing that. I want to ask you guys one last bit of inquiry for the group, and again, I don't. The voice of the Emperor is peering into your minds directly to offer you this wisdom. Do you? And this is optional, obviously, but I'm just offering as an option. Anybody want to update the Inquisitor on what's happening?
We could, but I was also going to suggest that maybe if we encounter one of the aides to the politician or the politician himself, we may have more of an idea on their timeline. And if he is going elsewhere.
Where would we find them? We know where he's going. Where do his aides congregate?
That would be our job to find out, wouldn't it?
I was hoping you would have a lead.
No discernible lead, but hello, Gabe Maestro. Hi. We're talking about dramatic irony for a moment.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. No. What's up? Chat to me.
I've been here for a while, fam.
You sure have.
What do I know about where they do?
You know what? Here's the thing. Here's your thought, right?
Give me the thought.
A couple things you could do if you're looking to get in touch with a politician's aide, right? Option one, he did just hold a rally, and so if you're quick enough, you could catch him at where he's staying tonight, and you would know that most of the hives here have a sort of like executive wing where people of higher status might stay. Getting in might be the hard part, but you pull it off, right? Or catch them on the way out. Maybe catch an aide on that. Option two is you could just go to the administratum of the actual, like, this hive here and hope that someone that is either there who works with him or who has worked with him before. That might help you. Option C is you're already going to be Secundus. Do the same thing I just said, but there. Option D, catch them on the way if you're lucky.
I will lay out the options.
Yeah, that was what I was imagining. But...
It's always nice to ask your maestro for information, though. I will lay out the options.
Never be afraid to break character for information, friends.
We'll lay out the options for the group. Except for Zad. Forcing me to work around.
I think Aria is definitely going to inform Zad Kiel as soon as she is reminded that Zad Kiel does not pay attention to the witch's ramblings.
He doesn't hear the witch's ramblings at all. He said, "Get the fuck out," and she, after being yelled at again.
Look, I mean, Aria's not happy about being talked at via psychic powers, so she's definitely like praying aggressively at you at the same time.
I mean, Barris could do it. He's going to explain it like he's talking to a child, but he could do it.
Well, regardless of who does it, one of you relays Lara's information on the plans, and thus you are now all aware of your options for what to do. So, just to keep us in a sort of like bullet point meta narrative where to go here, as far as where to go, you're thinking about either going to the spaceport or going to be Secundus, or remaining here possibly. Other considerations are travel, how to get there, wherever you're going, and B, how to get in touch with one of Orme Uten's aides. Your options for doing that are either catching someone at the executive wing, catching them at the administratum for this hive, catching them for the same administratum at B Secundus, or catching them on the way. Other thing to consider is whether or not your Inquisitor can help.
I think it's worth asking the Inquisitor.
If you'd like to report in, you might have a...
Probably should. I probably want to know about the little bit of massacre that we did.
Arya's just gonna blink at you. Does not.
Yeah. No, doesn't. What do you mean?
What do you mean massacre?
War crimes. It's only a war crime if it's illegal.
We only like let the void into someone's head, you know,
I'm sure he's fine.
expose them to the eldritch horrors of the cosmos.
Heretics need to die so they can bathe in the light of the Emperor.
Bro, he was
said it, not
just
me.
there. Like,
Any
like
case,
yeah, he tried to kill us, but like, it
so
was harsh.
are we deciding we're going to contact the Inquisitor, or is that a thing we're still considering in character?
Contact him.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm pretty sure we left the data pad with Barris. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
You draw the hololith. It's a small sort of like skull-shaped projector with which when you like kind of peel it back some, a little like iris opens up with a small like globule module that glows blue, and then it illuminates into a figure you all recognize, the sort of dark-skinned and locked figure of Inquisitor Brimrose, who is no longer dressed in his full Inquisitor robes, but is instead dressed in what looks like a rather like conspicuous manner, almost kind of like a rogue trader, you would imagine, like a bit of like a sailor almost, and he's sitting at what looks like a corner of a private room of a bar somewhere, as he is lighting up in the blue hololith and just, my agents. How are my acolytes faring this evening?
We have some options for our next course of action.
Right to it then.
We were seeking your wisdom as to what you would advise us to prioritize.
And he says, a moment, and you can see him like press another button, which clearly silences and sound deafens his local connection. Proceed.
Very well. Thanks to Laura's investigation, we found evidence of a politician in the area tampering with records, or tampering with shipping records. We wish to gain more information, and to do so, we would need to travel to Manufactorium B Secundus. Our other option is to investigate the spaceport. Spaceport Arctis. And as I'm sure you're aware, sir, those two objectives are nowhere near each other.
Indeed.
We're hesitant about splitting up in case of the event of something going wrong for either squad.
Sound judgment. Arctis will be difficult to get into, as it currently requires clearances that I do not believe I can easily offer you all. You could, of course, waiver on your inquisitorial authority if you wish to break that. However, such discretion is yours to make. Secundus is easier to get to. You can secure private transport via ferry or via your own vehicle, as I'm sure you have the means. If you are investigating the politician, how is the political landscape on Kata right now? Any reads on the heat currently?
Laura, Aria, you were the ones you were the ones who got close to him. What were your findings?
Well, as far as I could tell from the enthusiastic ramblings of a well-informed citizen, it seems that the politicians are reticent. They aren't sharing information on things like tithings or census data. Seems they're all in fear of each other. Especially that the power balance between the trade and mining guilds is shifting.
Indeed. Kata is currently undergoing what accounts for an election on a planet like this. Politicians on both sides are trying to vie for power. There are only four resident council seats that can be maintained, and every councillor currently seated is running for re-election. They are going to be tight-lipped about each other. Any gossip or blackmail that gets around could be leveraged.
light of the information, I personally think that B Secundus would be the easier objective to achieve. farther away, though it may be.
Agreeable.
Do the rest of you have any thoughts?
Your friends, Malo and Shez, they had mentioned that there's been no activity at the spaceport, strangely, despite being... or something.
They're under repairs.
Spaceport has been damaged for an uncharacteristically long time. Considering it's such a major hub, we would only have expected it to be repaired quicker.
Could we leverage the politician's interest in improving the lives of his people with our investigation to allow us access to the spaceport?
Let's do.
Everyone loves public transportation.
He is
Let's do.
part of the mining guild, isn't he?
He actually actually kind of leans up a bit and says, "That's actually relevant. Given you are going to be delving into the political landscape of Kata 2, it's best I give you an overview of the landscape, yes?" And you'll see him kind of pass information packets to all of you, each showing a couple of pictures, which he begins to describe one at a time. Let me get my over to the Roll20 so I can do that properly. Excuse me, sorry, friends. He begins as a face that looks at least familiar to some of you, darker skinned and sort of like set in with a lot of sort of a hem of facial hair around his chin area. You are already familiar with Orme Uten. He is born to manufactorum worker parents. He is a bit of a radical firebrand, popular amongst lower classes. He is, from what I understand, scrutinous but keen and kind, as well, what can pass for kind amongst a planet like this. Running amongst him, in the populous faction, is Lan Zamira. Let me... Excuse me, I had this printed already, I'm so sorry.
Hey, there it is.
There we go. Sorry. Running with him is Lan Zamira. She is scion of the largest mining guild. It is, well, a burdensome position, but one she holds with stoic pride. Admirable, really. Those two make up the populous faction. They represent the mining and manufacturing guilds, and most of the middle and lower classes workers that work amongst them. Populace, thus is the title. Separate from them are the traditionalists. There is Delm Kane. Wrong button. There we go.
That's gotta be Kane.
Thank you. Delm Kane currently carries the favor of several major trading guilds. He is, from what I understand, contemptuous of lesser classes and wields his influence to keep the trade and shipping guilds in line. It's a position that offers him a lot of wealth and power, and thus a lot of secrecy. Running alongside them is Kata Nur-Salv. We have less info on her. We understand that, from what we can see of her career, she is she was born to a trading guild, but doesn't talk much about it, and represents several smaller shipping guilds in her current political standpoint. Her platform is modest for a traditionalist, but it toes the line well. Those four, Odin, Amira, Nur-Salv, and Kane, make up the four factors who are currently vying for power on the planet. If you are trying to leverage any power on the planet, any of the political factors, getting close to any of them may be helpful.
We could learn the mind of this Orme to greatly serve us. Political speeches are one thing, but truth is revealed in dark corners.
He seemed sincere to me, at least, about his speech.
I'm sure in politics you get a lot of practice at seeming sincere.
Even dealing with politicians, he was far more sincere than most.
Is this your professional opinion?
Professional thanks to insight.
I see.
The Inquisitor sort of pipes back up and says, "Nonetheless, Secundus is a smart decision to move forward. I will leave securing transport to your own means, and I will also leave any further implications to your else. Keep contact to a minimum if we can for a while. I've embedded myself as a rogue trader and to maintain a cover as long as I can. Keeping orbit in a place like this and with a ship like the Sword is difficult, but I am using what resources I can. Be careful out there, acolytes, and more importantly, be vigilant."
By his will, Inquisitor.
Ave Imperator.
Sir, before we part, Mallow and Chess, the two dock workers who served as our source.
You'll see him
regarding
quickly
spaceport.
look over to somebody and say something. Someone will, after a few moments, hand over a pad and just... Mallow and Tyr and Chess Mowen. Dock workers. Minor criminal records, stealing and small civil infractions, but other than that, about as clean as anyone else can be on this planet. What about them?
I have a request that that they be protected.
Varys, can you make me an influence test, actually?
Sure. So my character sheet will load.
Take your time on that one, boss. While we're getting that going, anything else anybody want to do here, or can we just like part after this after the resolution of this roll here, and head to our break and then move in from there? Sound good?
I think I'm all set. I have every bit of information I need to know.
What you got for me, boss?
One
icon that is Exalted one too, so that should count as 2.
Oh,
Okay.
oh yeah.
Yes.
But it was is a 6? Does a 6 count as 2?
Yes.
Or am I...
So therefore you had
so
2.
3 icons.
Okay, 3. All right. Well, with 3 icons then.
I keep thinking the rat die result is the number and not.
Yeah, I
the
know.
number
It's always difficult to tell with that. So, with 3 icons, the Inquisitor quirks an eyebrow at you. You intend for me to expend inquisitorial resources to protect 2 random civilians on a scrap hive world like this.
They have been an asset to our investigation so far. And it is possible they may have been put into danger related to our mission.
He quirks an eyebrow and says, "The nature of an acolyte is to offer oneself valuable assets when one can, in whatever means they can. That was good work. However, wanting to put inquisitorial resources, professional resources, his holy resources, to the protection of 2 random people because they are important to you, that is a measure of humanity. And we must never forget that. I will do what I can."
You have my gratitude, sir.
He nods once, and the hololith closes, leaving you all with space to gather yourselves, recover for the evening, perhaps find somewhere to stay, and or move yourselves towards plans for transportation and moving forward. I'll let you all figure that out in just a moment. But before we do that, let's get you some time to stretch and recover. And for our audience, to refuel/defuel. We'll be back in just a few moments, friends. And so I ask you all to not touch that dial or that browser as we return in just a few minutes. Gloria in Excelsis Terra. Hold it for as long as we have to. Fine.
I started it.
Damn it. I gotta do this is my least favorite part of Warhammer lore is the Aquila symbol.
Look, I tried to make like this a thing
This
for
one.
Richmond spiders, and it never caught on. But I still
It's just so
pretty
dumb.
cool.
It's the worst part of Warhammer lore. Like, what is this? Why
I'm
is
just
it a thing?
I'm just being a gif over here.
It just looks like a bird. That's the
Yeah,
closest
it's
thing I
Imperial
could.
Aquila, yeah, that's the
the
point.
Aquila, yeah.
Wait,
It's
is
the
it?
Imperial Aquila.
It does kind of. It could also look like a
Just
spider
cross
though.
your thumbs because it's the
Wait,
twin-headed
what?
Aquila.
Really?
Like
you have
an
to cross
maybe
it?
like an
Why?
eagle.
Because
it's the
because
twin-headed
eagle
Aquila.
made of some
the
kind of
Aquila
metal.
the Aquila has two heads.
Why?
But only one head has an eye because, as is reported by Makro and Sigilite, one head looks towards the future, as the Emperor only cares about the future, where another looks towards the past, which the Emperor is blind to. I'm
sorry. Are you mean to tell me Kairos Fate Weaver is the Aquila?
Yes.
It goes all the way.
It goes
all the way to this.
It was Zeke's plan the whole time. Take us out before they lose it. Take us out. They know too much. They know too much. They know too much.
Oh, great and mighty stream manager. Maybe if we all played.
Yeah, wait, here. We got gather here.
We grant.
Tate.
Or
Yeah, this is your.
He who controls the stream, who captures our visage and displays it to our most humble audience. Take us to break so we might go pee. 'Cause damn if it ain't about to burst.
Damn if the dam ain't about to burst.
We have pushed ourselves to our limit of social interaction, and we need some time to sit in our kitchen and eat some loose cheese. If you would bless us with that, we would be eternally grateful. In your name, we pray. Amen.
I think Tate might have died, guys. I'm scared. I'm worried.
it's actually starting to hurt.
You guys need to go do your thing. I will be here. Just do the thing.
It's cool. We got it. Yeah, anybody needs to go. Just go ahead to the bathroom while I
Go do the
get us.
thing.
In the meantime, hi chat. How's it going? Everybody.
Hi everyone.
How's everybody doing?
We're gonna have to use cheese.
Feel free to ask any Warhammer lore-related questions in the
We're
the
gonna
chat.
have to leave all of this in, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we are.
It's gonna have to stay in the VOD. We had a super cool, really meaningful, ending spot to take us out on and everything, and then we just fucked it. It's fine.
Can you take us to break, please?
Oh, the great and powerful Tate has returned to us.
Take us out, please. And we return to tonight's episode of By His Shadowed Peace, our Wrath and Glory epic. When we last left off, the party had reconvened, spent some time discussing and reconfiguring on their plans, and after, speaking with their Inquisitor, have decided to travel to a Manufactorum B Secundus, a hive on the other side of the planet, with the intent of investigating the politician Orme Uten and his supposed dealings with the shipping ports and the secrecy he's been playing around that. The party decided to acquire themselves some transportation. I had them roll their influence roll in the downtime in between our break, but I will inform you all of the result. They succeeded. They acquired their transport and have themselves a Goliath truck, which I'll describe as we scene set right now. As a few things happen there. So, first things first. As you all are moving, we set ourselves back in, not in Manufactorum A Secundus, but instead out on the vast desert plains of Kata 2. There is a wind cutting through the caverns and high hills of the mountains here, as a large four-wheeled Goliath truck eats up dirt and moves itself in a northeastern pattern, northeast further. You all can occasionally see run-down structures in the distance, mines, maybe small halves, perhaps small bits of scavenger tribes living out in the distance. Other than that, it's mostly quiet, save for the occasional bit of fauna you can hear squawking off in the high distance, scavenger birds waiting for a dead meal. The Goliath truck is a large segmented vehicle. The front cabin, which is contained, has a driver's seat and two spaces for other crew. The back is a cabin, which is normally a flat, open-topped area where you could store cargo, personnel, or other materials. However, during our roll, we had 2 Wrath criticals, meaning good things happen. The first, I will tell you all right now. Would you rather your Goliath truck remain open topped, or did you manage to actually get lucky and get your hands on an armored one where they actually has a built up armored canopy on the top part that could be closed down?
Canopy.
Yeah. Armor.
Then you are all safe and sheltered from the desert winds, enclosed. Well, those of you who are in the back, enclosed in this back cabin, which is locked in and has several seats that have been locked in place. There is space to put cargo, and you've separated some of that area off for the massive chest that's bio-locked that contains a lot of your armor and gear. You've also had to tear out one of the seats just to make enough room for Zad to be able to sit down properly in the rear cabin. But it's comfortable enough. You are all here, spaced about yourself, and have time to sort of recoup and think. And I guess I'd mostly just pass it over to you all and ask, well, what are you doing as you travel and move around this place? Who's driving? Who's in the crew cabin? Who's in the back? What are you talking about? What are you doing? My voice is getting tired. Scene is yours.
All right. Well, I guess who has the highest pilots?
I have 5 pilots.
I have 6 pilots.
Oh. Damn.
4 is an unlucky number. Let's not have Aria drive.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you're driving, boss.
Exhausted parent mode, Barris Corbin.
Driving the family SUV.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And Boris is going to be even more exhausted because coming from the back, like any family.
If I hear one more hymn, I am turning this Goliath around.
Do not spurn the Emperor's words.
He just starts singing louder, but like it's.
How many more of the Emperor's words do I need to hear exactly?
I am on page 100 of 472.
A good chapter. A fine verse. And truly, we are bottomless cups for the Emperor's wisdom.
So we've got Aria in the back seat. Where is we have one more seat open, I guess the passenger. Where is Zad at?
Zad's gonna be sitting in the back. He fucking loves this tune. And, you know, he's an old enough guy. He'd be.
I don't think he can sit anywhere but the back.
This is spinning.
Okay, but is Aria in the back of the crew cabin or the back with Zad in the covered armor?
Aria's in the back in the covered armor section with Zedkia.
So then Lara and Baris are up front. And it does not take very long for Lara to just reach over and silence that radio.
Much appreciated.
In which case, as you are all setting in, we're going to step into our first travel encounter here, which is simply going to be twisting paths. Barris, you find yourself navigating into a series of caverns and like twisting ravines. The Goliath can easily handle the way the road inclines and dips up and down with no problem. However, there are several exit paths out of this cavern, and most transports, at least ground-based ones, tend to navigate them in a way that points them towards their objective. Is one you can take that's going to take you more towards Arctis, and one take you more towards B. Secundus. You need to make sure you're on the right path as you go. And it's the weather's, the sandstorms aren't bad right now, but they are churning up a little bit. It's lowering your visibility just a little bit. So I'm going to need, well, any of you can attempt this, but I'm going to need a pilot test.
All right. Zad looks like it's you and me.
Keep in mind there are several +2s all around the chat if anybody needs them.
Yeah, there's one for each player and then a floating.
What is this doing? 6 icons.
Woo!
And oh fuck. That looks red.
Nope, it's just you got a 4 on the rest. You're fine.
You're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You got 3.
Oh, wait, that's your test.
Yeah, hey, that's mine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got 5 icons and a wrath critical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, with 5 icons, Barris, you are able to easily navigate and move yourself through sort of through the caverns. And as you're finally cresting and coming out of the ravines, you start to pick up on a couple of like ambient, nascent like radio chatter signals coming off of the deep way, coming off, bouncing off of the ravine walls. So you know that there are at least a couple of other like caravans or transports or some other groups that are moving around this area about this time. Meaning, if you're trying to, you could probably get yourself to like stop and encounter one of them. If you're looking for anyone specific, that would probably require a check, which we'll get to in a little bit. But you are certainly aware that you're not alone out here.
Any chance that any of these travelers would be who we're looking for? That we just happen to encounter en route to where we think they're going to be?
That's going to require either an awareness roll from you as the pilot and the one looking at the radio. Lara, you can also try an awareness roll as you're currently in the front cabin and pick up these radio signals as well. I mean, you could try something else to do it, but you know, I don't know.
Oh, you mean psychic shit?
That's usually what I mean when I say something else. Yeah.
Lara, how close do you need to be to get into someone's head?
Within 100 meters to play it safely. I could extend further.
Okay. Fancy doing a bit of reconnaissance? If I can get you close.
I can.
All right.
Let's see.
So Barris is going to try and, I guess, how many caravans roughly are in the vicinity?
Hard to tell given the way the chatter is kind of scrambled, but you wager at least maybe half a dozen.
Okay. Do I have any idea of their like relative position to where we are? That I could try and like get close to them?
That would probably take the awareness roll to like get a sense. You know, like that your radio will only pick up signals within like, I'd say probably within like a few hundred meters tops. So they're probably within maybe half a mile of you.
All right. And there's no way I can like scan the area or anything like that.
That would be an awareness test if you want to like get like a sense of like look for anything important. You know, try to like drive in a way that might have you like looking for anybody.
Okay. Let me check the. What is my awareness?
I don't know. How aware are you?
Character sheet. Would you like to cooperate? I am like an aware. I have 7 awareness.
That's quite a number of awareness. Let's see that roll.
That is quite a bit.
Wow, that is not as good as I was hoping. Oh, well, so I got 3.
It's 2.
Add 2 more d6s. Remember, you got plus 2. Yeah, you got plus 2 floating chat if you use them.
Add them plus 2s, baby. Add the second plus 2 if you have to.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, hey, that's two more twos or 2 more seconds.
5 icons.
5 icons total. So you pick up on a couple of things there as you start kind of like trying to like hone in on the signals and like almost like drive in a way that had you sort of like slowly hone in and get closer to certain signals. It's just like it's hard to do as you're effectively driving by virtue of the sound on the radio. It's very difficult to do while also avoiding hitting rocks or canyon walls. But as the sandstorm begins to pick up a little bit, you slowly begin to recognize that there are 2 caravans within about, I'd say about 200 meters of you. One appears to be a group of workers, probably either shippers or miners. Hard to tell.
Shippers.
The other is only giving off like effectively proximity comms, saying like effectively making sure that, like it's effectively a proximity warning, saying like, hey, other convoys, please make sure you do not come within a certain like distance of us. And distance appears to be about 250 meters, maybe 300 meters. And you would know that that typically is reserved for, well, convoys of import.
Damn.
How far are you gauging?
They're broadcasting a signal to not get within 250 meters, meaning if we get any closer, they're probably gonna know something's up.
Do you want me to see if it's perhaps our politician?
That's what I'm thinking. But
All
I
right.
can't get you close enough.
Like I said, I can extend the range. Just a little more risk.
Are you sure?
A risk of
I'm
psychic
certain.
powers? No.
You should be asking yourself that.
I'm not the one with funky brain stuff going on.
No, but you are
Heresy.
certainly the one who sends heresy. Maybe not, but you are the one who will be first dealing with its effects. And
Oh, God.
doing a reach. Which I did preemptively roll that, and I did roll it with the additional wrath die from extending my range.
Mm-hmm. What you got for me?
And that puts me at a 7.
Ooh. With a 7,
7.
you feel any ones rolled?
Nope.
Right. Oh.
I got close with it too, but
Oh. Everyone in the truck feels a cold wash at the back of their necks for a brief moment. A shiver that chills despite how warm this desert obviously is.
I sense
faint
heresy.
Sweeping. Laura, you stretch out your perception. And you detect... Well, you detect two things, actually. One is several mines in a convoy vehicle. Most of them are guards, clearly. One or two appear to be maybe attendants or bureaucrats. One is a at least semi-familiar mine to you. It is Ormeun's. This far out, it's a little difficult to fully get like actual thoughts other than like basic things. There is one curious thing you notice though. There's another presence there. Not there, but in the same way you feel your own psychic presence reaching out and pressing at this pulse, something else is connecting to that same general area, or to someone specifically. You can't really tell from where, or at least you can't tell exactly from where, but you do get a direction. It's coming from the way you're traveling, actually.
From Segundus B or behind us?
Check out this feed.
And it feels like another psyker presence.
Oh, absolutely.
Fucking hell.
There's a psyker coming from Segundus B.
Damn it.
But that is the convoy.
I will say, the moment you relay that and recognize and feel that other tether attaching to the convoy, the area, it also sees you and immediately recoils away.
They've backed off, but they know that I'm here.
Damn it. We should back off then.
We can stay outside of range, but we do know that's the convoy. And they're en route as
At least we
well.
know we're in the right place.
Well, with that, we're going to pass ourselves over to our third travel challenge. As now that you've recognized you are near the convoy and moving through it, you know this next area of the travel goes over a bit of a very rough, almost more reactive, loose soil part of the desert sands. A lot of convoys are swallowed if they aren't careful here, and while more than enough people know the routes to travel to avoid the worst parts of it, you still have to be careful in traveling here. But every convoy around will have to be careful here. I am going to need another piloting roll, and this is going to be a harder difficulty, but know that succeeding hard enough. I'm carrying it. I'm going with it. Why not? Succeeding hard enough means not only will you be able to safely navigate the sink pits and not lose yourselves in the sand to die suffocating death. It also means you might be able to outpace the convoy if you do it right.
Well,
I believe.
let's keep
Anything
rolling,
called
rolling. I click the button. Keep rolling. What?
You rolled and you rolled twice. Somehow.
Oh,
You got another glory die.
That's true.
3
Yeah, the word I
icons
expect-
total.
That's 3 icons.
yeah.
3 total.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I will use the. How do I use the guy?
You could spend glory from the pool to add another icon just flat.
Oh, then yeah, I'll do that. 'Cause
All right.
I'm gonna guess 3 is not gonna be a pass.
So you want 4 icons then?
4 icons.
One second. All right. So excuse me. All right. With 4 icons, you are able to avoid the sink pits. You've traveled these routes before, I imagine, in your time working on this planet, Varys, and so you're able to navigate the worst parts of them. You probably aren't outpacing the convoy. You might arrive like an hour or 2 before they do, which would give you all time to vacate and not be easily seen, or like making it. It won't seem like you're tailing them or anything like that, so you can avoid that. But if you want to like actually outpace them, you're gonna need to make time somewhere else in the travel.
Okay.
Let's check in on our friends in the back of the cabin. Aria and Zad.
Oh
going
yeah,
back
did
there?
we tell them what happened?
Might they be praying?
Can I just, as the cold trickle of psychic pressure hits, Zadkiel goes to the door, and like the door separating the pilots from the rest of the cabin, and opens it up and just looks at both of them. All is well.
We found our target.
Is all well, Commander.
Wait, I'm the commander?
In this moment, yes.
You're not gonna like this. We found the convoy. They have their own psyker.
Incorrect. Incorrect. The convoy is the one with the politician. The psyker is coming from Secundus B.
Oh. Well, that complicates things a bit.
What
We tried to get
complicates things?
If there's another psyker extending their range this far out, and apparently also keeping tabs on the convoy.
I should say, by the way, and this is the thing that only Lara you would know at the moment. Given that you only briefly felt that psychic connection to with the Psyker, so you weren't able to get a full sense of how refined that connection was. They're right. That's a distance to make a connection from, and that Psyker was definitely skilled. Nowhere near as talented as you. Now, again, you're a special case, but they're definitely not you level skilled.
I don't think there's much to worry about them.
The presence of heresy does not concern me. Merely that you, in this moment, have not been ensorcelled.
think that's enough to make Laura kind of pause and look
If
over
you
her
if
shoulder.
you look if
like,
you look over your shoulder, there is a Astartes combat knife pointed like the same way, you know, if you turned and someone would poke your face if you turned around kind of thing.
Zad,
Are you ensorcelled, friend?
is that a word?
It is.
We're on the same team, Zad.
I felt
Please
the
don't
presence.
stab our
Looks
We
over
need
both of
her
them.
help.
Decides neither of them is experiencing any particularly heretical things at the moment. Pulls the knife back, slides into place. At ease, sister. A momentary disturbance.
Did she
Aria
have a
has-
gun pointed at us, like, from behind the...
Aria
Okay.
had like a las pistol pointed like vaguely in your direction, has been like frantically reciting various different scriptures from her, like one
For I
hand
am the
on her
vengeance,
book.
and the fire, and the retribution. Nay, for they are the enemy, and the heretic, and the mutant.
Just absolutely just like, here's some heresy going on here. Are you kids okay?
You're
Good.
not doing any fucking heresy up here, are you?
Closes that partition very slowly again.
y'all up here sinning.
Oh, fuck.
There's just a moment after that where Lara looks at Barris and's like, they make this extremely inconvenient.
You make this convenient.
You aren't listening and you
I
know.
know. I'm just being salty in general.
Okay,
See,
so
look,
am
that's a
I.
salty alarm.
It's okay, I'm salty
They're
too.
handy to have.
Well, as you're
They're
all
handy to have around at other times, though. As we've seen.
As I've seen, yes.
We all have our part to play on this team. I only ask that we can coexist for long enough to not squabble like petty children.
Well, as you all consider your various sodium levels, you find yourself slowly approaching the large urban sprawl that pushes out. Unlike A Secundus, which delves deeper into the sublayers of the planet to create its factorum sink, B Secundus spreads out from its central point, radiating with larger and larger factories and refineries and other storage facilities. You're effectively on the outskirts of the Acropolis, or the arcology complex that would make up most of this hive. It is as you're traveling, though, that you start to notice traffic. And I don't just mean transport traffic, because there are, of course, transports moving in and out of the like large traffic lanes and storage bays. And there are, of course, because the air is currently not too choked by sandstorms, small buzzard landers and quadcopters coming to descend with cargo and other personnel. What I mean, however, is human traffic, as there is a large throng of people, several people wide and maybe about a mile and a half back, slowly proceeding themselves forward. I would say you aren't certain what's happening, except one of you is from here and the rest of you can hear, as the crowd, almost all of them, are providing some kind of hymn. Some are humming, some are singing loudly in choked voices, some are carrying censers and swaying them back and forth in pallid hands. Plenty are clad in grubby white robes with symbol of the Aquila all over them. It's a holy congregation. As outside of the city, you can see a massive sprawl of tents and, well, rough-shod structures. Some even look like bark landers and transport haulers that have been broken down and hollowed out into residences. You're effectively facing a massive camp of refugees, a throng of the faithful.
Hey, Zad, you're probably gonna love this.
What be it?
Look, it's your people.
It is the Emperor's people. Blessed citizens of our glorious empire, showing devotion. Truly, all praise to the Emperor.
Aria has literally
Mentally,
pointed.
to Lara, Barris is just gonna be like, they don't look too blessed to me.
Actually, as a question, do we know the hymn that's being sung?
Oh, Aria, fucking course you do. I will say, it is modified. They are singing the hymn of the Emperor Resplendent, which is a very, very common imperial hymn you'll hear sung for all kinds of holy days. However, you're hearing some of the deeper refrains, some of the major refrains. There's some slight change. It's probably because most of the people here don't actually know High Gothic and are just trying. It's like when you sing an anime opening, but you don't actually know Japanese. You just kind of just like say the sounds of the words, and like it sounds like you maybe know the words, but you definitely don't. Exactly. It's that, but for praise song, as again, these unwashed masses, again, probably don't know High Gothic. If anything, this is the only High Gothic they know is this song. So if there's some issues here, and you would know this, both Zad and Aria. Zad with your eidetic memory, being a Face Marine, and Aria with you're a sister of battle. It's kind of your thing. So yes, they are singing a hymn you both would know. And Barris, I'm sure you've heard this sound. Hell, Laura, you've probably heard it a few times around. I wager a few times as well.
In backtracking a little bit, Lara's response to Barris is, "Didn't you know the Emperor plays favorites?" And it's those that drew the short stick that worship him the most.
I fucking sense
I think the less we say about this in the presence of our conference, the better.
Aria's not paying attention. She's literally just singing along with the hymn, but like actually in proper High Gothic. Properly.
This isn't a sign. This is a
Are Aria and Zed about to like jump out, guns blazing, being like, "You're saying it wrong"?
I don't think that would be necessary.
No.
It's not uncommon for common citizenry to not be able to properly sing High Gothic hymnal. It's
that they made the attempt is good enough.
However, I do have a question. As you are currently singing hymnal, Aria, do you have any faith points?
I have 2.
Could you roll me a fellowship test real quick?
To my worst stat, okay.
I need literally any icons here.
So at most I can get 1. All right, we roll this.
Remember, you have +2s and glory points, whatever you need.
I'm gonna use 2 then.
If you were making a circle roll, you'd be great.
What?
You're making a fellowship roll, so you got a problem.
Okay, so I'm gonna use the +2, so that's 2 to the bonus die.
Go on.
And we roll. Oh, hey, so I managed to get 1 icon and a 6 on the wrath die.
Aria, increase your current and maximum faith points by 1. As you find yourself in this moment, you and Zad, you'd see this. In fact, you up at the front, Barris and Lara, as you're like talking about, the Emperor playing favorites, through the back cabin window, just faintly, there's a light golden glow. As Zad in the back, you watch as Aria in the middle of this hymn falls to her knees and opens her hands, lifting her head back and just singing the hymnal fully in perfect High Gothic. A light glow of gold surrounds her as she sings, and almost you can feel like strings almost in the background as she is briefly suffused in the holy light of the Emperor.
Once she's found a stopping point, truly you are blessed, sister.
the greatest honor to hear that from you.
Do not seek honor from me. My chapter has been marked for penitence. It is only by the work of the Inquisition that I redeem myself. All honor is your own and the Emperor's.
Glory be.
Indeed. And you shine in his light. I am but humbled to sit in your shadow, as we all sit in his.
That's really beautiful. I love that a lot. That was very sweet. That was pretty...
Okay.
Oh,
He's witnessed this like immaculate event, you know. He's watched someone take a step on the way to sainthood. It's
true.
crazy, you know.
I'm sure that won't be foreshadowing for anything. Any case, so as you all find yourselves able to part the crowd, as you notice, there is a large shrine outside of Bisecundus held that's been erected out of scrap metal and ship parts by the people who have made this refugee camp city. But you're able to move through that and park yourselves in one of the many docking bays that sort of seal into the larger main area of the main factorum. And it was hard to keep track of, Barris, but you know you're pretty good at driving through, so you weren't really worried about that. You're pretty certain you saw the caravan of the politician back in one of those lines headed towards one of the other docking bays. They're probably about an hour or two behind you guys. You all land and manage to. By the way, enjoy your second result of your Wrath Critical. Enjoy. As that's happening, you all manage to step out. I'm assuming as it's, you dock and get outside. The moment you step outside, well, the result of your Wrath complication comes in, because not only do they roll 2 Wrath criticals when rolling for their getting in the truck, they also roll the Wrath complication, and it's about time that happens. As you all step out of the caravan, as you all step out of your glass truck, you immediately find that there is, like Zad, you step out. Barrett, you hop out of the driver's seat. You kind of turn and move away from around like another vehicle that's like a parked next to you. You almost have to stop as you bump directly into someone, or more accurately, into their hotshot lasgun. As an armed guards person in sort of armor with plating and a red robe draping down under parts of it. They're not helmed, but they have a sort of half mask on that covers the bottom half of their face. And you find, all of you, as you're all stepping out, several more, about 6 total of these people, step out from other sides, some just walking up to you, and clearly stopping in front of you all. And there's about 2 of them who stop in front of you, Zach Gale, but they stop you clearly, or try to stop you, like stand in front of you. The most thing that you find really, I think, might make you all not immediately jump to grabbing your weapons and turning the scene into a very, very gruesome murder scene again, is that on their shoulder pads, at the bottom of their robes in black ink, and on the very sort of nose cusp of their rebreather mask they have on, you will see that these guys have on them, and excuse me as I have to do a quick edit because I didn't include an image I meant to include, and you'll have to forgive me for that. Give me just a moment as I fix that. I feel like I ruined the tension. I'm so sorry, friends. I got it. I fixed it. On their pauldrons, on their robes in black ink, and on the on the cusp of their mask, you will see painted the royal eye of his Inquisition, as several Inquisitorial stormtroopers surround you all.
What is the meaning of What is the meaning of this? We serve a similar purpose.
You will see one of them, although all of them clearly don't immediately say anything, one of them does kind of look at you with an eye that clearly is like, why are you saying that so loud? But you get your answer almost immediately, as 2 more stormtroopers begin to walk up to you all. And tucked away into the docking bay, people are moving enough, and there's enough, rush of let me reset that real quick so I can get some better city ambience here. There's enough rush going by and business in the street that people aren't really able to notice a couple of people off to one side, even though one of them is large and cloaked in a big robe. 2 more stormtroopers walk up to the 2 of you, along with a 3rd figure. They are human, clearly. Their figure is statuesque and muscle, though still feminine. They are dressed in a blue uniform with a robe and a trench coat robe that is clean cut and perfectly kept, outlined in bits of gold. Their face is older, scarred. There's a white hair kept in a clean style that almost mohawks behind their head. And the right side of their face is given over to a bionic, metal plating and a single glowing red eye where their right one used to be. The figure walks to you all, and without saying anything, holds or moves their sort of breast part of their jacket to show a bright golden rosette in that same symbol with 3 red rubies embedded in the middle. You all know that symbol as an inquisitorial rosette, a mark of office of not just an agent of the Inquisition, but an inquisitor. And you have seen a few of them marked with similar rubies. In fact, your inquisitor has the same one. And you've seen plenty that don't have any rubies, so you know that no markings on them. It's like that simple gold cross. They're just like, I'm an inquisitor. Your inquisitor has 1 gold ruby, like 1 bright ruby on the middle of his to show him as like a higher ranked inquisitor. This rosette has 3.
She has 3.
She shows that rosette with no words and walks up to you with the 2 stormtrooper guards, closes the rosette, and looks at you all. Acolytes.
Now, this is me asking out of character. Is it respectful in this situation to kneel? Where does this person fall in the Imperial hierarchy?
You are Adepts Astartes. You kneel to no one save the High Marshals or the Lord or the Lord Marshal's Templar. You do know, however, this is an Inquisitor Majoris. In fact, I'll save you the need to do that, as she'll finally speak to you all, rather than saying acolytes, and introduce herself. Inquisitor Majoris Dominus Severin.
Wait, Severin?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna...
For context, and I'll save you the look up, Dan, you all were told that Lara was joining you as an
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna look over at
Taskforce
Lara.
Severin.
For Ash Severin. Different.
Nope. Sorry. I changed her name. That's my bad.
I hate you.
I'm sorry, but yes, that's her.
It's problematic.
Is it? No.
Ah, good. And I'll give like a word, like the the Roman salute, like a chest.
Zadkiel, you are an Astartes.
Yeah.
You are gene-crafted perfection. You are an Emperor's divine angel of merciless wrath.
I'll stop it.
You are a sculpted 8.5 foot tall, even outside of your armor, figure of muscle and meat that could rip a human apart with your bare hands without thinking about it.
I aspire to hear this in real life one day. Yeah.
You have seen humans, even Imperial Guard commissars, flinch when you address them directly. You have seen humans in every position of power look at you with just the slightest bit of fear. Like if they know for a fact there's nothing stopping you from ending their existence. As you address this Inquisitor, she cuts a single human eye up to you. Quite.
Wait.
Zadkiel Delos, Lamentos chapter.
And she looks over and says, Sister Aria Yun Cantor, Silver Dawn Order, and Barris Corbin, local desperado. I have dossiers on all of you. I have been keeping my eye out for a while. You will find the Inquisition does that. Our eyes are everywhere, after all.
Of course. And your loan to us.
She quirks an eyebrow. She says, "Tell me, what business has Task Force Brimrose on Kata 2?"
Are we allowed to say that?
We are.
Like out of character. Like, is this like military protocol wise? Are we allowed to say that?
We are. Yeah, it's
Default? Yeah, probably. But I would say it's ultimately really up to you. By rank and file, yes, absolutely, you should be coughing up your fucking information right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things by the rules of the Imperium. Absolutely, this is a commanding officer of our commanding officer.
Yeah, this is your boss's boss's boss.
Yeah. Yes, but also
rank and file. There's also the whole oh hey Leona, what's up?
No! Hey, Leona.
Hey, welcome, Leona.
So yes, to answer the woman who's addressing you all right now, who is asking you all for information, by rank and file, yes, you should tell her everything you know. However, you know that ultimately protocol on what to reveal as far as Inquisition information is ultimately up to the delegation of that Inquisitor. So it's really on you guys. However, to give you all information on what this woman is capable of, an Inquisitor Majoris can order an exterminatus on this planet right now with maybe no hard consideration. She could consign every living soul on this planet to death with a word if she wanted to. So maybe keep up your information if you wanted to. I don't know, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
someone else wants to jump in here, because otherwise Zadkiel is going to start talking to his commanding officer, informing them on everything.
Same.
Is this something that you? This is something that perhaps may be better explained by our task force leader, or the Inquisitor in charge of our task force.
And she actually she offers a sort of another quirked eyebrow. Seems to be maybe a habit of hers. And she then says, "Quite so. I'll be honest. I have no need to bother with whatever current investigation the task force finds itself busy with. I don't bother with the work of lesser Inquisitor's acolytes. Rather, I am here for your Inquisitor."
Then, respectfully, we have no further business. We might continue on our way, and you will continue on yours.
Not so.
Understood.
That would have been the case. However, one of you, and she looks like moves just her eye over to you, Barris. One of you mentioned alone. Are you implying a member of my task force operates amongst your squad?
Wait, I didn't say that.
Or someone did, yes?
I did mention on loan. I did, because I am a big lunk of trust.
So that she will eye back up to the Space Marine then, and you mentioned alone then.
Oh, psycho.
And she'll see, where her eye normally raises a fair bit when she notices things, it narrows some. And she turns her eyes quickly over all three of you, and then looks over. I do not believe I've ever seen this woman in my life. She's then gonna roll a check. Because, given your facial reactions, she's going to roll a check real quick. And make this not private real quick so you guys can see how good she is. She does. Boop.
Oh shit.
She'll then look. She'll as she says that, just I've never met this woman in my life. She cuts her eyes immediately over to all three of you, sees your faces twitch, and just go. And that surprises you all.
We were led to believe that he was on loan, and already the hand is going to that trusty combat knife.
And she'll stay your hand, Asades. You were told that this woman here This, and she'll narrow that eye further, which operates as a member of my task force. The mere notion that my pure and glorious task force would employ the use of witchcraft amongst it. You'll see her almost like genuinely like twitch a little. Heretical to even consider. It does, however, mean that you all were lied to. 2 guesses as to who.
Is that something you're saying out loud to get our
Again, somebody.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't out loud. She said that out loud.
Yeah, again, anyone want to jump in here? I realize what I am, and I realize what that implies I might do.
I mean, it's the same over here.
As a player, I am begging you, cut me off.
It's like, please.
What are you saying?
And she says, I am merely implying that certain dossiers provided to Taskforce Brimrose from its highest echelons may have contained faulty information. I am here on censure orders, and thus you will understand why that's very curious to one like me. As such, and she kind of perks herself back up, I would expect full cooperation in my further investigations.
Of course.
She turns. And you then, Witch. I will find your truth. Soon. Whether or not I have to break them from you will be your decision. Good morrow. And she turns to leave. Yo, another
Hey,
ring.
Welcome.
Wow. Hey, welcome,
Appropriately titled
Raiders.
given what's happening right now.
Anyway,
I'm being threatened.
can I look at our? I'm going to say witch here, because the.
Oh no, please! I talked a whole lot. My voice is tired. Get dramatic.
Yeah,
I'm done.
can I look at the witch? What is Lara's like face doing at this moment? Is it all controlled, or is there even the slightest hint of concern?
I'm gonna say confusion.
Zedkill's going to approach. Not do anything. Just kind of loom in that way that an 8-foot-tall killing machine can loom over somebody.
I should say, just in case there's any meta confusion, just to clarify, while obviously you are aware of the cover story that's given, which you now are aware is at least a cover story, how do I say this non-spoilery? Lara, the Inquisitor, knows what you are, who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know the cover story he gave was a cover story.
Wait, our Inquisitor or this Inquisitor?
Their Inquisitor. Sorry.
Which
Excuse me. Y'all Inquisitor. The Inquisitor. You're
leads
Inquisitor.
me to believe that I have also been lied to. Because his commanding officer is here.
Which is
And not elsewhere like I was told.
which is why Fatkill is going to loom over Lara. An innocent mind is free of fear, sister. Or should I say witch? Make yourself plain, and you may yet be redeemed.
She is not afraid. You can see definitive confusion, definite frustration. And it's almost like the shoulders kind of slump and soul laid to bare. Says, then you will have to hear me speak in this way. If you want answers. And that's still mentally.
will tolerate this. It means the Emperor's truth may yet be spoken. You are not from this task force. You are
No.
not part of our task force. What are your
That's
origins?
I am a psyker. I have lived here for many years. I was told by Inquisitor Brimrose to say that I was from Inquisitor Severin's task force. I was lied to. Or maybe he doesn't actually know that she's here. I am just as surprised by this as you are.
Deception begets deception. A liar should not be surprised they are lied to. Such is the way of the Chaos Gods.
We have the same goal. I do answer to Inquisitor Brimrose.
For how long, I wonder?
Till you have answers, and then I will disappear.
No.
Nary to be a thorn in your side again.
I will see you return to the Black Barge. No further marks upon my chapter shall be made.
And I eagerly await the time. And that is with a note of bitterness.
Cast yourself from my mind. I wish no longer to have you there. And he'll turn his chin up. Not a difficult thing to do. And Varys, what's our goal here? We have wasted enough time already.
It hasn't been 2 hours that we've been standing, right?
No. In fact, you still have time to get moving and go towards either like the Administratum and get some information from the shipyards if you wanted to do that, to walk around, to get yourself settled, to buy some gear, anything you want to do. And in fact, I'm going to let you all figure that out while I give you all a bit of a break so you can yell at me for causing drama. Somebody want to add our dear stream manager and let him know we should be there as I briefly monologue. Friends will take a brief bit of a break as we let our friends settle away from their drama and, well, I guess figure out who's telling the truth. I guess maybe this whole mystery thing I'm doing is working out. Thanks to all of our awesome friends and raiders for popping up. You guys are so great. And I'm going to make sure we give you all at least a solid more like half an hour to 45 minutes of good RP and content. I'm going to go hard for this, guys. Don't worry. I'll get some water to recharge. We'll be back in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. Love you so much. All right.
Round, please.
And we return. Welcome back to our conclusory portion of tonight's episode of By His Shadow Peace, our Wrath and Glory epic. Where we last left off, Taskforce Brimrose encountered a very, well, I can't call them a strange ally. I can't call them a bitter rival just yet. I can call them a curious force, as they found themselves meeting with Taskforce Severin, namely their leader, Inquisitor Majoris Domina Severin, who appears to be keeping a very close eye on their Inquisitor. Their Inquisitor, who very clearly withheld some information from at least a few of them. What information? Well, we'll get there, don't you worry. As it stands, the party stands with a tense moment outside of the Goliath truck. You still have time to move and get to administration and do some work. The convoy will arrive soon, and again, they're not worried. They're not going to run into you and know who you are or whatever, but if you're trying to avoid Orme Uden, you have about a half an hour, maybe an hour tops. Moving towards or through the Hive is not difficult. B Secundus is organized, but still chaotic in the way a Factorum Hive can be. There is, however, plenty of signs and postage up. Orme Uden's speech is going to happen in about a few days' time, a week total. Meaning he's not going to be showing up and immediately doing his rally. He might do some minor things here or there, but the actual big speech, the big massive rally he's giving, is in about a week. That said, you all can move towards the Administratum building. It's a large, carved out into a ravine side, a bulkhead of metal and iron that's built out several stories up. It's not hard to get inside. You don't need clearance to just walk inside. The Arbitrates guards who are outside don't seem to stop you. But getting to the upper floors, getting to actual records might be difficult. There's a clerk on every floor who's willing to work with whoever you need. Other than that, you have the freedom to move, interact, and do as you want. Seems yours.
Shall I make an official request for access?
You send it to the clerk?
No, to the group.
Hmm.
This is where.
Unless you think it'd be quicker to sneak in.
As a question, GM, does Sister Aria have Administratum access as a Sister of Battle?
You, as someone trained at the Scala, could easily walk in as a sister, even without revealing that you are a part of the Inquisition. As a sister, you could easily get credential to walk into all but like the highest floors here, and hell, maybe even those, depending on how high the clearance is. Granted, that would reveal you as a sister, but only as a sister.
I'm a Sister of Battle. I have free reign of most of the floors here at the Administratum.
If you provide guidance, then I would follow.
That seems like our best way in then.
So I think Aria is going to lead them over towards the records room. And just...
As you approach in, Aria, you will need to show your rosary or something else as a symbol of your order for them to recognize you.
Aria pulls out what looks like... it's her rosary. It's silver colored. The beads are each a beautiful wrought metal, and they come patterned with a bit of like a sunburst flame design. The symbol of her order, along with you can see at the bottom is a instead of like some kind of like crosser, whatever, it's a flaming naginata.
Love that. It's beautiful. You show the symbol, and the Arbitrates guards outside stop and quirk an eyebrow, or like quirk or turn their head. They're helmed. They turn their head.
I am Sister Aria Contour of the Order of the Silver Dawn.
They immediately straighten and turn to the side. As you step inside, one of them steps in with you and sort of flashes a badge to the clerk and then indicates a head at you. As you still have the rosary out, the clerk behind the door sees the rosary, and almost straightens up immediately. Sister, apologies. We had no idea that someone of the orders would be visiting us. Tell me, what business have you on Kata 2? I hope you've had a proper welcome.
It has been a bit of a journey. The convent has need of some of the records here.
They straighten and immediately begin to look behind them. As you can see, several other clerks and workers begin to scramble with sheets of vellum and data pads, begin to slot things in. It's clearly not very organized here, but the moment they recognize who you are, they are struggling to make it look as best as possible. And then try to keep that image up. They say, of course, sister, records are right this way. And if you and your party require succor or some sleep, we can make use of the executive wing, as we don't believe we're going to be visited by someone of higher clearances for the next, day at least.
Anything you can provide would be much appreciated, thank you. And she will offer them a prayer.
And as you begin to recite the prayer of the saint delivered, you recant over them and sort of put your hand up and place a single gentle sort of three-fingered hand over their head. And they lower themselves, and as you recite the last of the lyrics, they try to mumble through the last few stanzas, but where you recite them perfectly. And lo, for the saint's light, is a mercy given only to the righteous. They sort of try to remember, and lo for the saints, only to the righteous. Thank you, sister. And they are again very clearly moved by this. You can see them almost dwelling a bit here as they quickly begin to rush and have others move and help you try to move back towards the record room. It's again a bit chaotic in here, but they move and allow your party. One of the workers bumps directly into Zad's large form, but tries to swerve around them quickly. You're let into a side room which contains large data stacks and rows.
Great. So I think what Aria's going to do is she's going to not just look up just the shipping records for Arctis spaceport, but all of the spaceports across the planet. So it's sort of like an obfuscation of what she's looking for, but also to compare data points across the various traffic going in and out, what looks to be normal and abnormal.
That will use one of your 3 actions you get before Odin arrives at the port, and that gives you that will be an investigation roll, which I will have you go ahead and make and hold the result until I come back to you. Others, actions.
This is a fact-finding mission. I set myself to finding facts. Beyond the Emperor's truth, of course.
Are you also record searching?
Yes.
In that case, that will be an investigation roll from you as well.
I'm assuming we don't get a bonus die for Imperium.
I will allow you to take the bonus die for it. Zadkiel, you will not, as you aren't currently supposed to be going through stuff and you have the proper clearances directly.
Yeah, this isn't organized like my battle barge.
Exactly. Go ahead and make that roll. Hold it for me. Other 2 actions.
Lara would also be searching in specific more for what the document she actually saw. She remembers enough to find it. And that being specifically like the things that Orme has gone through or signed off on.
All right then. In that case, before I let you roll, I'm going to give you a choice. Assuming you do this in a way that Aria is aware of, Aria, you could easily inform Lara that it would be much easier to search through specifically the executive server or data stack, which would be held in the executive suite, which you guys can get into. You aren't allowed into the office or the data bank, but you could sneak back there and do work there. I would let you do that, Lara, without having to make the stealth roll. I will, however, increase the difficulty of doing it if you want to.
I'm here for the gamble.
Go for it. You might have more success than Aria will.
Indeed. In that case, I will also take an investigation roll from you. Take that roll and hold it. Barris. There are 3 actions being taken. Y'all are allowed 3 actions before Uten arrives. If there's any action you wish to be taken, you could do that. It will, however, mean you are here possibly running into it.
So, what are we looking for exactly?
Hold on, we lost one.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, Turk.
He's back. It's fine. The Emperor protects.
Don't worry. Everything is okay.
The Emperor protects.
Everything is fine.
It's fine. Barris,
This disguise was too powerful. So, what are we looking for exactly?
They are searching for detailed shipping records on, I guess I said in character. I don't know why I said that as a GM.
Yeah, so...
Like, Aria and Lara are the ones who, actually saw it, so...
Yeah, they're looking for... Yeah, sorry, go for it.
Oh, I was going to say, so Aria is looking specifically for anything that looks weird, right? By searching through all the records across the shipping... the various shipping ports. It also obfuscates what she's looking for because she's looking at everything. Lara's looking specifically for her own spaceport, the one that she saw in the executive wing, and I don't remember what Zadkiel's looking for. Sorry. Besides,
he's actually looking for general information and stuff.
Yep. Okay.
there. What can I do to help?
Well,
yeah.
out of character, y'all did mention y'all wanted to possibly get some more info on Odin personally by possibly like getting close to like an advisor or someone who works with them. Y'all are in administration. The chance that you're gonna meet someone who knows him or has worked with him here is way higher than it is here than anywhere else. So you could, put on the charm, go talk to somebody, chat him up for a little bit.
Ferris, well known for his charm. I guess, relatively speaking, but what style would that even be?
I think I would take that as a cunning roll.
All right, I can be cunning.
All right, so we have our actions. Let's go. Starting off with, let's do Zad first. What you got for me?
Zerkiel has rolled a mighty 1 icon, but let it be known that icon is a 6.
Ooh. So the 6 will get you something, Zad, actually. I'll say why not. So, Zad, as you're carrying through, you do not have the scholar training that someone like Aria would have to know how to parse through these records expertly. You do, however, have a mind that can process things faster than a normal human brain can, however, and thus you are able to keep up with and keep a pretty steady pace of just filing through record after record after record almost robotically. And while you don't get much outwardly useful information, you are getting some crew reports from supply runs that have been showing some damage reports actually. The convoys that are suffering damage and causing emitting tides, they seem to be taking that damage primarily. Actually, you know what? Why am I doing this? I have to show you the clue. As it's a clue. Zadkiel. Go ahead and read that out.
Good job, Zad.
Yeah. Convoys that suffer missing supplies seem to be primarily suffering this fate while in suborbital transit off the planet. They've been blaming an asteroid storm, citing hull damage. They have not been forthcoming with the damage reports to their ships, however. This incites further question.
As we move on to our next roll, Zad, you go on from there as you get that bit of information. Well done, by the way. Let's go ahead and take a look over at Aria next. Aria, what you got for me, darling?
Two icons.
With 2 icons, you are able to start to look at these space reports for all 3 spaceports, and you notice a few things. 1, Throne's Gate, the largest spaceport on the planet, is operating optimally. No issue, no problem, not a problem. Trenton Spaceport, the most southern spaceport on the planet, the one that you haven't really been dealing with at all, that is reporting nominally, and while it is mostly in the hands of the traditionalist politicians, they are being very tight-lipped, so you are able to get a lot of records about it here. You wager, though, that getting in close with someone on that faction, the traditionalists, might give you the chance to get some more information on that helpfully. So you get some of that lead in there. Arctis, the spaceport you're looking for. Well, you mostly get the same sort of reports that you've already been getting rumors of. That there are some shipping reports that are coming in that seem perfectly normal. You are noticing that there are a few locked shipping documents that are where normally clearance for shipping manifest should be held for someone of like grade beta minoris, which you easily have credentials for. A few manifests are being held at alpha primaris grading, meaning only people at the highest levels can access them, which strikes you as very strange.
Especially because, like, what would need to be locked down at that?
Curious indeed. You do note, though, that there does seem to be a trend from what you can tell. All of the ones that are being held at higher grade are private shipping, which isn't super uncommon. If it's going to be held at higher grade, it's going to be done for a private collector, not for some public use or for governmental use. They do all, however, strangely, not mention the private contractor in the manifest title, which even though they're locked down, they should.
duties. Or this is some... enemy action.
You consider that thought in your brain as the camera slides psychically up towards the executive wing as we get a look at one. Actually, you know what? Before we go there, let's take a look at Barris next, actually. Barris, you're out chatting, schmoozing up, trying to talk to who you can. What you got for me?
I have got.
You got 2 6s!
Woo! And a rat complication!
Oh no.
2 good things and a bad! Ooh!
Sometimes the dice just know when I need
I'm
things
about to get a
happen.
drink thrown in my face.
Nope. So what actually happens is, Barris, you find yourself chatting up with a security guard, an Arbitrace agent outside, who just is having an IHO stick. It's a cigar and just minding their business. You chat with them about simple things. You actually start chatting about their las gun, about their sidearm, and about how it's pretty well kept. They assume you're like a mercenary or a guard for the sister, and thus you start chatting about weaponry and about targets you've bagged throughout the years and like firefights you've gotten into and just simple stuff like that. And what they manage to sort of spill, what they give you is a curious bit of information. They tell you that he used to work as bodyguard for one of the 4 counselors. One of the 4 main counselors. He actually used to work for Kata Nursal, one of the traditionalists. He got fired, but he does know. He almost offhandedly spits out a sort of like random line about how she would spend lots of nights in her private conference room on a call with one of the other counselors. Couldn't ever tell you who, but he just kind of throws that line out randomly, and it's curious to you.
Huh. Dang, who knows what these folks get up to in their own time?
Yeah, you know what's weirder? The way I got fired.
What do you mean?
She gave me some random last job, told me it was my last one, so if I did it well, she'd pay me triple my yearly wage and give me a plot of land on retirement.
Did you do it well?
Well, it was a super mission. Take some box, drop it off somewhere in the sump.
How big was the box?
Yeah.
Huh, that is weird.
Yeah. Well,
Any idea what it might have been?
listen, bud. In my line of work, I've learned that you ask the questions of the people who you can beat up with your shock maul, but the people who can fire you and or get your whole family exiled, you just let certain shit slide.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Yep. Anywho, he kind of pulls another IO stick. You want one of these?
Yeah, sure, why not?
He hands you one, with a lighter. And as the lighter a light goes off, we follow a few curls of smoke up towards the executive wing. However, a complication will happen. Not just yet, but soon. Actually, no, it will happen now. The camera will briefly...
Spark from the lighter catches all the archives on fire.
I know. Briefly, the camera will cut away as we're following the camera up. It stops on a higher level as a hologram comes on. It is a familiar-looking face of a burly, darker-skinned, bearded politician, one Orme Uden. The clerk working the desk with the hololith pops up, immediately straightens up. Oh, my lord. No need for that. How are you? And she smiles a bit. I am well, he says. And your daughter? He says. She is well. Healing, actually, sir. I thank you for being so aware, he says. I care for the people of my city, of my planet. And she smiles and he says, I'll be arriving in the office tomorrow. Are preparations prepared? She says, yes, sire. Your office is locked down, and no one's been in there for several hours. He says, thank you, and closes his comms. Sorry, he says, thank you. I'll be on private communications for some time. Thank you. and he closes that. We go up to the executive wing, where behind a locked door, under the door, a blue light goes on, indicating somewhere in that room, a hololith just went on, meaning someone in that room is talking to someone else. Separate from that executive wing, though, there's an archive room where the executive stacks are being kept. And in that room, having snuck past and mind-controlled one of the guards to make sure they don't see them, is one, Lara Talon. Did you give me an investigation roll?
A what roll?
Investigation.
Okay. Preemptively, I rolled after you told us, like, hey, roll that, hold on to it. I threw in the +2 because I was paranoid, and I ended up with 5.
5 is a good number. Oh, 5 is a perfect number. 5 is the number you needed, actually.
Ayo.
It takes you a while because the logs are heavy. And again, there is redaction done. And you don't have to bother reading this one because it's not narrative like the other clues are. But you do get your hands on a clue. A redacted shipping manifest. The one you were looking for. You don't have to bother reading everything, but there are several shipments listed here. It lists 5 shipments and says that they're operating about 75% of the prior report from Arctis Spaceport. The first shipment is some Promethean jelly meant for industrial use. It went away with no problem off to the planet Sarana. The second was a load of bulk silica wafers and some superstructure grids, B gamma grade. They were headed somewhere and were lost. Third, its miscellaneous haul wasn't told what it was. Its details are also redacted. It was headed for private storage for the Kane Guild and was lost. The fourth, was a hulk of bulk refined ferrocrete silicate rounds. It was bound for Orm 2, and it's away. The last is something else, labeled as bulk miscellaneous ores. Its destination is also redacted, and is preparing for dispatch.
Make a note of these. And are there other manifests that are showing similar things where they've been edited, redacted?
Mm-hmm. And in fact,
how far back?
I would say as far back as, well, I'd say honestly about as far back as a year and a half, maybe 2 years, possibly further. In fact, given what you were given for dossier briefings, up with about when the reports of missing tithing started coming in. Maybe even a little bit before then.
Dossier briefings. Clarify for me.
The dossiers you were given by the Inquisitor, like on the mission you were basically being trying to help out with. These missing ties and things. They go back about 2 years or so, and these redactions go about that far back. And in fact, given that you're in the executive wing, you can see who authorized and approved all the redactions and changes. All of them are authored by the same person.
Orme. While I'm in here, I'm going to scope through a couple of them at different intervals in the past, and make notes of them, so that I have something to compare to with what the others found.
Well, with that said, you are all allowed to go and regroup. I'll assume you all designated, Barrett, you designated some place you all were going to regroup and sort of share information after you got out of this place. It's hitting that time frame where you all should probably get ready towards doing that. I'm assuming you all can do that with no problem, exiting with Aria without an issue. One of you, however, might want to stick around. Lara, as you're walking out of the stacks, leaving that room, you can see a blue light, clearly from a hololith, online in the executive. Someone is in that room talking to someone on a hololith. It's, well, you're pretty sure that door is locked. And as soon as you step out, the hololith flickers like it's about to go off, meaning that conversation is ending. you could possibly, might take some second fuckery to make yourself invisible or disguise yourself somehow, but you could get in there and, well, see who it is.
I'm here for some fuckery.
And some heresy.
All right.
And some heresy.
Well,
We out here sinning.
in that case, let's briefly check in on our other three. Barris, where would you say you would tell the squad to regroup?
I don't really know how the building is laid out, but probably somewhere probably like a central location, like in the lobby or somewhere, like that we could exit easily.
Fair enough.
And that we could blend in with a crowd. Well, to the extent that Kill can blend in with.
Alrighty. I mean, you also can easily regroup like somewhere that's not in the building. You can regroup like in like somewhere else.
Ah. Do we have lodgings set up?
You could, if you wanted to.
If we,
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say if we set up lodgings beforehand, that'd be a decent place we can reconvene.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of places you can like you could grab like a sort of cube hotel, like storage hotel for the evening, where you can sort of get yourself some rest. So easily, even without having like do that ahead of time, you can easily just like gone somewhere and done it without too much trouble.
Okay, that seems like the best place to reconvene.
If it makes sense, I think Aria is probably going to stay buried in some stacks while waiting for Lara to come to come by, so they can leave as a guard.
True.
So like sending on the escort ahead.
Right. I should probably bid my new girlfriend farewell. Duty calls.
The Lord, I will stay, keep an eye on the witch.
Do you require assistance in this?
Oh my goodness.
My faith in the Emperor will lead me true, whether she is to assist us by the will of the Emperor or to hinder. Fine.
Nods. Jewish sister. Come, Bears. There's still yet work to be done.
Right behind you.
So, as you all part, and as you two part, Barris and Zad, you two separate and part. You're able to exit the building. There are definitely people who look as the two sisters' guards seem to leave the sister behind, but no one seems to bother stopping either of you or any of that. But Aria, you make your way up towards the executive wing, and we'll cut back to what you and you'll sort of be you'll go executive wing as you're cresting the rise of the stairs up to the higher level. The doors will open just as you see step in to the executive office and close the door behind her.
I mean, the clerk did say that Aria has access to the executive wing. So
True.
Aria's just going to walk up to the executive wing and go in.
All right. Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. Lara, how are you trying to disguise yourself or become invisible or anything like that to get into the room, or you're just walking in?
All right, let me. Um. Sorry, I had it in my head and then it just went away.
It's fine. Take your time on it. I mean, you definitely got options. Again, I know you can like shape, like change your disguise with your second power, or you can turn invisible possibly, or if you want to keep it vague, you can just like roll psychic mastery and we get narrativize. Don't worry about like using actual power if you want.
No, I think this is very fitting. Is that you might not have actually seen Lara as Lara. It just looks like one of the attendants that you might have seen further down on the floors. The same uniform. Darker hair pulled back into a reserved bun. Stepping into the room.
Well, if I don't see Lara, then
carrying what
yeah.
looks like a bucket. Something to clean with.
Wow. All right. Well, Aria's just going to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like...
no. Aria doesn't realize that's Lara. I think Aria's gonna go to the room that Lara
was supposed to be in.
Was supposed to be in, and just start like wandering around the stacks, going, Lara, did she leave already?
Well, in that case, the camera will cut across and watch Aria go into the stacks and look around as we sort of cut past the door. Lara, disguised as one of the attendants, you creep your way into the room, and you sort of slowly walk in. The room at first is quiet. It is dark. Whoever's in here did not bother to turn many lights on. You can still feel the barest bits of the hololith close out as you see a face that you're pretty certain is Odin, or may Odin, close out of the hololith just as it fades away. The other occupant in the room, though, is, well, it's a figure. It wouldn't really be noticeable because you're certain there's someone was in the room talking to, so you're not surprised by the fact there's someone in here. The person, which is a hard word to use here, that you see is confusing, though. And before I have anything happen, could you go ahead and roll me Psychic Mastery real quick?
Oh boy. There's a total of 4.
Give me 1 second. You watch as Lara, as you creep in, you look as a face.
Oh, Jesus.
As a face looks at you, smooth and inhumanly porcelain, slightly angled ears, and a mark about their face, like a tattoo carved in red. They look at you, the attendant you're disguised as, and almost cutting directly through it. They cock their eyebrow, and a face of confusion crosses them. Edelvara?
Velak. I had a sneaking suspicion it would be you.
Why are you here?
I've been here. Better question is, why are you here?
And telling you, would you then run back to the craft worlds? Tell them where I'm out gallivanting?
To repay a favor in kind, I would not. Not that I have much of a way to get back right now, as it is.
Then I would ask that favor be saved for something much more important. If you would hear it.
I will hear it.
Leave me to my work. The Monkai do not know what they dabble at. What I do here is vital.
What are you doing here? Other than puppeting politicians to change their datas. I completely borked that shit. Okay. I'm gonna roll back. And what are you doing here other than puppeting politicians to alter data logs?
What I am doing. And you see him kind of like shift through several emotions. People like you are emotional creatures, but control is a thing you're taught. He shifts through several emotions. Chasela, he says, using an old word full of comfort and remembrance. What I am doing here is not business I can share with you. You will need to trust me.
I have a hard time trusting you given that you ran off.
And that too, I will explain. One day.
One
But
day,
as
because it's
wish,
been decades.
if you are asking for an apology, I will not give you one. What I will give you is an ultimatum. Stop working with these foolish Monkai. Leave me and my raiders to what we do. And trust that I am saving this world. Or when next we meet, we will cross blades.
I suppose next we will cross blades.
He gives you a nod and almost psychically impresses in your brain a sort of vague feeling of this conversation is over, you can leave.
And unless there's much else to gain from being in the suite.
Not really at this point. I think you got the important thing.
Yeah. Hi, buddy.
You turn to walk away, and as you hit the door, he, not out loud, but psychically, he's so nowhere near as skilled with this as you are, but just barely, impresses in your mind. I saved your life once. I can end it.
I can turn that favor into a threat.
And I believe with that, we've hit a very solid point to end tonight's session on. Darlings, I thank you all for coming out to a arousing and revealing episode of By a Shadow of Peace. Lots of things happened, and I'm going to make some announcements, but before I do that, I'm going to let my awesome cast tell you who they are and get ourselves out of here for the rest of the evening. Friends, this has been By a Shadow of Peace, and we've been the Allies Roleplay, but please, I'm going to let my awesome storytellers tell you who they are, who they've been playing, where they've been found on the internet, and give brief hints as to what they have coming up in the future. And we'll start with God's favorite Marine, Brother Zadkiel. Stand and be addressed.
I just want to note, I was ready for more treason, and I have never felt such tension release in my body as when I'm like, Oh, thank goodness there's no more Necron. But like, I wanted more Necron. Anyway, hi everybody. I am Turk or Turk Accented on well, the Emperor's most blessed interwebs. I of course was playing Zadkiel Delos, brother of the Lamenters, and if you're familiar with that lore, then you know why he said what he had to say and did what he had to do. I am, as always, super pleased and blessed to be a part of this game in his divine light. I continue to prosper here, and I look forward to seeing how we all almost kill each other with our secrets. Anyway, if you want to see more of me, wrong. But if you must, you can find me tomorrow over on Last Caravan RPG, where I will also be playing a godly marine, but this time in the form of a Jesuit who has been told to kill his team, or at least one of them.
A lot of that going around these days.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's what's old is new.
It's in the air. But that mission comes from another semi-paragovernmental agency, and it should be a lot of fun. That is, of course, Delta Green campaign, Impossible Landscapes that we're playing over on Lost Caravan. Beyond that, this Saturday, because I take no breaks ever, if I ever stop, you know I'm taking vacation, but hopefully I can soon. Anyway, Saturday, I will be over on High Shelf Collective. I'll be running them through a little bit of a semi-homebrew scenario of Call of Cthulhu. There'll be a bunch of rich people on a boat, in which nothing ever goes wrong with a bunch of rich people on a boat in the Atlantic.
I've seen Glass Onion. I know that's not true.
Something goes wrong. All the rich people survive.
Well, we'll see. If you want to join, that will be this Saturday at 7:30. We'll be playing through a scenario that I am affectionately calling Treading Water. Yeah, right? Let's see. I don't have my phone with me, so give me a moment. Because I need to make sure I hype what needs to be hyped. Yes. So this next Monday, not only is it Juneteenth, and you know that mind, but I'll be over on Lost Caravan playing Things from the Flood, which is a follow-up to the Tales from the Loop game that we've been playing over there. And then I'll be in a bunch of other things. But I have been limited to 3, and I will respect that, as is the Emperor's word. But I do a bunch of cool stuff. I usually retweet what I'm doing. But you should support all the people you see on screen here, and you should keep it locked into Neon Lights Roleplay, because we're doing a bunch of awesome one-shot charities, supporting a bunch of really good groups across the country. If you didn't catch our stream on Tuesday, that was the first one. There's another one on the 17th in Perpetuum. You know, like, if you can give, please do. Even if you can't watch the full stream, just stop in, you know, drop a little bit of love and be on your way, because that's what the world needs from you right now. Anyway, talked for too long. Blessings be to the Emperor. Thank you so much to Tech and Chat. And thank you all so much to the players, and of course Foxy for continuing to run an absolutely exceptional game.
Oh, you're
Bye.
Well, keeping the same. Hey, he's literally gone. That's it. Well, thank you, Brother Zadkiel, for your service. Outside of that, we'll keep moving to the other zealous guardian, soon-to-be saint on this party, Sister Cantor. Stand and be recognized.
Hello, it is me, Michelle. I do not exist on the internet. Don't go looking for me anywhere, but I do exist here. And tonight I played Sister Aria Yun, our sister of battle, who is also, as mentioned previously, a zealot. We'll see what happens with her. You can find me here today. I guess it's technically today. I mean, I was gonna say tomorrow, but like it's technically today, tonight, for A Blade's Will. I'll be GMing for some wonderful folks And it's our rotating Naruto 1E 5E campaign. Well, not 1E. What 1E is a thing? All right, cool. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Who knows?
There were 4 other Naruto users.
Maybe. Either way, look forward to it. It'll be explosive. As for where you can find me next, you can find me also on Juneteenth for The World Within You, our I can't say it as nicely as Vermin, but it's our wonderful Voidheart Symphony campaign run by the most legendary of Vermin. Since we're doing 3 things, I guess you will also find me here next week for Stardust Ghosts, also run by Foxy over here.
Gonna be a banger, friends. Let me tell you, we'll get to that later. Don't worry about it. But before I get to that, we of course need to address the hometown hero, the smooth-talking man himself, the Blues Brother, one and only legendary, Sir Barris Corbin. How you doing over there?
Hey, I'm laying the den. Tonight I played Barris Corbin, hometown pew pew boy. If you want to see more of me, for some reason, I will also be here on Juneteenth for The World Within You. We will be raising money for charity as we do with The World Within You, so keep your eyes peeled for details on that. And then, let's see, 2 weeks after that, fingers crossed, I'll be back here for the premiere of Neon Afterglow, a sequel to the very first campaign we ever did, nights, featuring myself, Michelle, Foxy, Tate, who has been here this whole call, even though you can't see him because he's stream managing, and our good friend Joe Hate Club.
I am so fucking hyped for Neon Afterglow. I cannot contain the hype within my body, actually, y'all. Y'all don't even understand. We'll get there later. Don't worry about it. Go ahead, Dan.
And then 1 week after that, I'll be here again on By His Shadowed Peace, our Warhammer 40k flavored mystery. It's getting pretty crazy. Like the last episode we had, like we found out one of our teammates may have been lying to us this whole time. So you know, dissension.
Man, I remember that episode.
Like
Great.
And then one day after that, I'll be here for The World Within You.
Yes, I love you, Dan. And, well, with Lion 2 references and other jokes aside, we bring it back to me, folks. I'm Young Foxy, a.k.a. Big
Hello?
Foxy. Oh, I joked. Oh, no, you know what's crazy? No, what's crazy? No, what's crazy? I had a thing prepped for this, so I said, save this for last. And somehow my brain went, yeah, last after me, which is dumb. Having said that, now I'm going to do the thing that I plan to do. As we have, of course, one less person to bring home for our cast members. So having said that, Valua Utulela Amanda Anai Atalo Apali Anel Adel Shalali Alala Talon. You'll find out what that means and what language it is next episode. Hi, Meg.
Hi.
Sounds
That's
like
a
heresy to me.
Oh, we all out here sinning.
Busts through a wall. Are you sitting in here?
Hello, everybody. I am.
Returns because I hear heresy.
Heresy is a button. Hello, everybody. I am Meg and/or Meg Mystery, and I got to play Laura Talone, Edelbara, maybe. But yeah, she's. I'm in danger.
Well, no. You're fine.
But as far as where you can find me, where I'm maybe not in as much danger, on Saturday. What is that? I have to figure out what that is because it's on here twice and I don't know what it is. But on Saturday, we will have our next episode of Breaking Neon over on Singularity. It's a City of Mist campaign where we are currently dealing with 2 brothers who are having a citywide falling out and everything's going to shit. I'm playing Problems on Purpose, the character over there too. But after that, you'll be able to find me on the 20th for Camp Runners Cross again over on Singularity Roleplay. It is our long form charity central stream, so we're having a session every Tuesday of this month where all of our profits will be going to the National Center for Transgender Equality. And after that, every month we meet, we'll be focusing on a different charity represented by that month. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's Gay Panic the game.
Pretty great. I've been catching the VODs, honestly. Wonderful show to catch up. If you just like have a couple hours at work, just like chill and watch the VODs, great show for that, honestly.
Very entertaining. I'll give it that.
Cast is incredible.
The big bad is therapy at this point, but after that, you'll catch me back here.
Yeah, what did therapy ever do to you?
Well, I got it too late in life. But I'll be back here on the 22nd running our next episode of Last Transmission, our Dead Space-esque campaign, where I get to put torture onto both Turk and Foxy as well as Roman and Chalk Point. But they're not here tonight, so I can't torture them right now. But so we'll see them on the 22nd. After that, we'll come back around for Emperor's Cross again, and then of course going into July, there's a whole new list of stuff that goes on.
May be booked and busy, by the way, if you're curious.
I stay busy, but enough about me. We're going to throw it up to our magnificent maestro, puppeteering all things mystery and doing fantastic at it.
So, you're the cutie. I'm Foxy, aka Big Foxy, also the favorite Fox Philly's finest. I'm on Twitter, right? I'm Foxy. It's YUNGFOXXII. My voice is rapidly leaving me, so I'll keep this very simple and say that I do a lot of stuff around here. The next place you will see me on the Neon Lights interwebs, I believe, is actually next Wednesday, now that I think about it. You'll see me returning to the Helm of Stardust Ghosts. It's going to be a damn fine episode, let me tell you. It's going to be our anniversary episode, a full year since we began that campaign, and, well, I think it's time some of them got some upgrades, yeah? Outside of that, you will catch me hanging around the day after that, actually, or here, actually, for another episode of Last Transmission, where Meg will get to try to break me emotionally. She's doing a great job of it so far, honestly. And also be doing the episode from a undisclosed location somewhere else in the U.S., as in someone else in the cast house. You'll find out who soon. Don't worry about it. It'll be great. And then I'll come back around for some more things. Actual premieres coming up very soon. But much more importantly than that, we have a host of, like I mentioned, series of Pride one-shots happening this month. Each one will support a different charity across the country in a state that is being attacked on the grounds of LGBTQ existence, identity, and education. We are trying our best to punch back where it matters. We had our first episode of our one-shots the 13th for Witch Punks. We have a game show happening on the 16th, run by Sir Heckalot. And another one-shot the 17th. So you get 3 back-to-back days of Neon Lights. It's going to be a Blazable episode today/tomorrow, and then a Pride game show, and then a Pride one-shot. So very Neon Lights, very gay, and very wonderful, all for your eyes. Friends, I have talked enough, and I am going to stop, and instead have someone else talk. It's still me, by the way, if you were curious. A figure, low and illuminated in dark black metal, slowly covered in a sickly green light as it watches a hololith spin and show a large planet, dusty and occluded in desert and ravine, speaks to no one present, save the shifting constructs that move around it. And so the stage deepens. Secrets unraveled, truths yet to be revealed. All spinning around this little dust ball. So insignificant, so unimportant, and yet brimming with potential. Potential unawakened. Ave Imperator. Gloria in excelsis terra. Good night, everybody. Take care of yourselves, Cat.